Welcome back to Ozarks Tonight. I'm Heather Lewis. More than 16.9 million Americans living today have a history of cancer, and treatment for cancer is unaffordable. That's according to a new report called The Costs of Cancer from the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. Emily Calmer is the Government Relations Director for that organization, joining us tonight. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us, Heather.
So I want to talk about some of the key findings from this report, but first let's talk about how it was set up. Who and what did it look at?
Sure. So this report looked at 6 patients with common cancer types and ran them through scenarios based on standard treatment to see what their costs would be under 5 different types of insurance. So just kind of giving us a sense of how much cancer patients would pay with different types of insurance in common scenarios.
And one of the things this report found was that patient costs are not affordable. So what is the out-of-pocket expense for cancer patients?
The bottom line is cancer shouldn't mean financial hardship for patients. And what this report found is that cancer patients pay about $5.6 billion in out-of-pocket costs in 2018. So that's everything from your premiums to your deductible to your copay or coinsurance. And we know for many cancer patients that's simply not affordable.
What does the out-of-pocket expense look like, particularly when it spikes? When does it spike? When you're first diagnosed, through that whole treatment process, what does that look like?
Sure. Well, for many cancer patients, the costs when you're initially diagnosed or when you see a large amount of the costs, and those spikes, because they all come at one time, can be a big financial hardship for a number of cancer patients. And particularly with some types of insurance where you have high deductibles, the costs are on the patient, and they're going to have a lot of out-of-pocket spending right off the bat.
And let's talk about the insurance a little more. What are some of the key findings there, and does it vary for one patient even?
Sure. So the number one finding is obviously this was looking at cancer patients with different types of insurance, but the most important thing is how important it is to have insurance at all to keep costs down. These patients paid considerable amounts out of pocket, but without coverage, they would have had significantly higher amounts. But the second biggest finding was the type of insurance matters a great deal. So for example, one of the patients had a short-term limited duration plan, and they had out-of-pocket costs of over $50,000, which is about 4 times more than patients that complied with the federal law. So the type of insurance you buy can really matter a great deal when you're diagnosed with cancer.
Are cancer costs rising right now?
They are. By 2030, they're expected to rise by 34%.
Wow. So I know that ACS does a lot of advocating for cancer costs to change. How do you do that?
Sure. Well, this report plays into that. We educate lawmakers about policies that they can enact to decrease the costs of cancer for cancer patients. So, everything from providing greater access to insurance with lower patient costs to increasing cancer screening and prevention, which can help diagnose cancer earlier when it's more treatable and often less expensive.
And capping patient out-of-pocket expenses is also something that I know you all work on. Talk to me about that. How does that work?
Sure. Well, currently, many plans have maximum out-of-pocket costs based on the federal law. So that's something that we think has really benefited cancer patients. Unfortunately, there are some plans that are sold out there that do not have those out-of-pocket caps. And so when cancer patients rely on them, they can often face, as I said, large costs of often 4 times the amount that they would under other types of plans.
So if someone has a history of cancer in their family but doesn't have cancer at this moment, what's the best way to prepare financially, or even looking at these insurance plans to maybe prepare and just kind of get ready for the future? Hopefully that wouldn't happen, but what should you look at when you're picking your insurance plan?
Sure. Well, we advocate for access to comprehensive insurance plans for cancer patients, plans that are affordable, not just on the premium side, but also looking at things like whether they have out-of-pocket maximums, whether or not they do cover things like prescription drugs. And there are some plans like short-term limited duration plans that still can deny you coverage after the fact based on your family history. So you want to ask those types of questions when you're looking to purchase insurance.
Okay, very good. And this whole report can be found online as well. How do people get in touch with you if they have questions or want to learn more information and view this report to its entirety?
Sure. The easiest way to do that is go to www.fightcancer.org, and there's /cost-cancer is where you can find the report. Otherwise, you can just go there and look up Missouri, and that's where our contact information is, and you can shoot me an email.
Okay, and this is Emily Calmer with the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us, Heather.
We will be right back with more Ozarks Tonight. Keep it here.